Is there really a way we can save her? And we're met with this again. In the old days, men tried to catch a glimpse of the future in the strangest of ways. They locked themselves in dark rooms, not partaking of food and drink. At the stroke of midnight, they ventured out into the night, through the dark woods, where strange creatures roamed. To see if they would be wealthy, to see if they would be happy, to see if they would live, to see if they would be loved. But why did she have to die like that? Alright. North of the mill, south of the brook. Let's go to the brook first and see if we can trigger this before, you know. Something written here. What? What? Feel 168. This is what they meant. Oh my god. Oh my god. I just saw that there was something written up here, but I thought like maybe I could zoom in on it. Feel 168. 1894. So nothing? Did I mess up? Theo. Oh, Theo. Whoops. Holy shit. What? That's a lot of stuff to read through. Please don't tell me it's gonna be a ton of paragraphs. It's just like that's gonna take up a lot of episode time. Alright. August 4th. Hello, new system. Testing photo upload. It works. Should probably write here more often. Sounds like my Twitter. Read about every book on Swedish folklore there is. Surprised how little has been written about year-walking. Need more sources of information. Talked to ES. He suggested some field work. Might be good, but I feel that I might be 30 years too late. Been talking to elderly folks, eating cookies and drinking coffee. Their knowledge about year-walking has been limited, to say the least. Barely any of them knew what it was. If they did, they had heard stories as children, but forgotten the details. Thinking ES sent me on a wild goose chase. Interviews at the retirement home. May I never grow old. The last interview was intriguing, if very brief. Talked to one Astrid Jansen. She was over 100 years old, clear at times, did not know a lot about folklore. But she did claim that her grandfather's brother had once here walked. Sadly, she did not know his name. He died many years before she was born. Might have to look into it. Her maiden name was Svensson. Stevenson? No, Svensson. Which leaves me a lot of possibilities. She was born in Vedtorp, and I can only hope that her grandfather was as well. More interviews, nothing worth mentioning. Professor Asp called today. He hinted at the full faculty wanted to take part in my research. September 2nd. Followed up my visit to the retirement home. In the early 20th century, there were 6 households inventor with the name Svensson. According to the church book, Astrid was born in 1913. Her grandfather was Carl Frederick. He had two brothers. One died in 1942, and the other brother, Daniel Svensson, died in 1985. Since Astrid said that her great-uncle died before she was born, Daniel is the one that supposedly earwalked. A miller apprentice. Went to the library to check old newspapers tomorrow. Looked at the reference of Daniel Svensson in old newspapers. I'm grasping at straws. Another day at the library. Nothing of interest. Bored. I'm about to give up. Excited! The newspapers finally mentioned a Daniel Svensson. He was apparently arrested for the murder of a young woman. That was us? Was that us? Information is scarce. Her name was Stina Nilsson, and she was the miller's daughter. Her body was found on a field outside of the village. She had been stabbed multiple times. The library should be open longer. I hope I can find any references to his supposed yearwalk. September 11th. The motive behind the murder seems to have been jealousy. Not many details. Apparently Stina was going to marry a Lucas Tapper. She was on her way home from Lucas's parents when she was intercepted by Daniel. She was found the morning following. Just 17 years old. I feel a tad guilty about my excitement yesterday. After all, there is a great tragedy behind all this. The press seemed to have lost interest in the case after a while. Found nothing today. Maybe ES can tell me something. Had a long talk on the phone with ES. The murder case was unknown to him. He had never spent a lot of time in Vettorp during the 60s when he studied folklore in the area. There had been a rather peculiar runestone that seemed to predate the Viking Age. ES claims that there was a definite connection between the symbols on the stone and yearwalking. Oh my, this is weaving a very gruesome tale. Went to the library again in case I missed something about Daniel. Indeed I had. Found another article. Feeling upset and a little bit sad, borrowed the article just in case. Perhaps there is more to learn about Daniel. Booked a hotel room in Vettorp. Arrived in Vettorp. It's a small place on the street. One street cuts through the village. It's a rather depressing place, to be fair. The weather would not do any place justice. The hotel is empty besides me and a group of dog toy manufacturers who are a bit on the noisy side. Mustache chef, for veal recipe. Got a map from the hotel owner. Excited about the archive. And I have the feeling I will find something major. Just got back from the archive, an interesting place. Sadly, it's only open 4 hours a day. It's understandable since I was the only visitor. Possibly found the files I need. Tomorrow, reading and lots of it. I knew it. The archive had exceeded my wildest dreams. On New Year's Eve, 1893, Daniel Svensson did indeed yearwalk. The court records read of his yearwalk at several occasions. I have just started to scratch the surface. There must be beliefs hidden among these papers that have been forgotten for ages. Amazing. This is by far the latest recorded yearwalk. I hope I'm excused for borrowing from the archive. They gave me little choice since they are closed during the weekend. Could not sleep last night, too excited by the files. Much of the records are of legal nature, but there are relevant passages. Daniel claimed he knew that he would murder Stina after seeing it in a vision on his yearwalk. Sadly, the scribe had not bothered to take it all down and occasionally refers to it as ramblings of a madman. Poor boy. There are certain elements that are new to me. Must write them down in detail later on. Need fresh air. Daniel's cabin, Solsorten, briefly mentioned in the protocol. We'll ask around about it. Hope it still exists. Here's the box. Drove around for hours in the forest today. These are woods to get lost in. Asked for directions from every local. Most people never even heard of the cabin. Was about to give up when I met an old man. His aunt lived there till the 60s. Then it had 3 different owners. that used it as a summer house until the mid-80s. The last family that owned the cabin only stayed there one summer. Their 5-year-old son drowned in a brook nearby, and nobody has lived there since. The old man's nephew owned the land. I asked the old man if I could pay it a visit. He did not think there could be anyone that would mind. The cabin is situated deep into the forest. No sign, no road, just a narrow path. This was the place where he started his year walk over 100 years ago. Felt overwhelmed by the thought. Could not enter. It's a lonely place. The only other building I could find was in an area was an underground storehouse. I guess it might have belonged to the cabin. It was too dark to see anything, but I imagine I can't imagine there would be anything of significance in there. Oh boy, howdy, were you wrong. On my way back to the car, I found this strange box. What an odd thing to leave in the middle of the forest. Seems to be more or less in mint condition. Could not resist taking it. Tonight I need whiskey and lots of it. Went to the Beltorp Church today. It's a small white stone church built in the 12th century. The place where the church stands has been used for worship even earlier than that, according to the priest I met. He showed me around the premises. Put a bouquet of flowers on Stina's grave. Seemed appropriate. The almost unlikely silver epitaph read, "In memory of our loving daughter Stina Nilsson." Her cries for mercy could not sway his hand. Ah, depressing. Searched for Daniel's grave, but there was no stone, and according to the priest, probably never was. The gravestones E.S. told me about are gone. The priest is not sure where they are or when they disappeared. Weather has been unreasonably bad. We're probably going to spend the next 2 episodes reading. Oh well. I hope you guys don't mind. The weather today has been unreasonably bad. Spent the day at the county archive. Bleh. Had trouble concentrating. Tried to locate the photograph of Daniel Svensson, but no luck. The clerk explained that a lot of stuff was lost in... Okay. Well, at least I didn't use a fire as an excuse. Apparently there was another murder case in Veltorp in the early 1890s. Aaliyah Rasmussen drowned 4 infants in the creek. She was an angel maker who received foster children from poor unmarried mothers. Lisa promised to find the babies good homes in exchange for a hefty sum of money. This was all a charade. As soon as the mothers had paid what little they owed, she drowned their children in a nearby creek. All files from that trial have been lost. Outrageous. I think I'm done with the archive. Been thinking a lot about that church. Wow, we're coming full circle, kids. We're coming full circle. God damn it, no, move. Jesus, and it ends on, like, the journal ended on January 1st. Jeez. The runestone E.S. talked about is not marked on my map. I talked to the man at the service station. He drew me a rather primitive map. Not everybody's a cartographer. Let's see. Searched for the stone for a long time. Almost gave up. Found it at last. Felt compelled to touch it. I had the strangest sensation of looking beyond. Beyond what? The feeling lasted for quite some time. Heading home tomorrow. Wish I had more time. The stone is old. Might predate Christianity. Damn. But I failed to see how it was connected to year walking. Could not resist stopping by the church on the way home. Walked around it for a bit. It's a pretty church. Not remarkable, but there's something about it. I feel that the church and the stone are connected somehow. Found the box when I unpacked. I'd almost forgotten about it. Seems to have some lock-like construction, but I've yet to understand exactly what it is or how to open it. It reminds me of those puzzle boxes. The wheel with the symbol suggests it's opened by entering a password. It must be old. Maybe E.S. knows something about it. Decided not to tell E.S. about the box. He might not appreciate that I took it with me. He's always nagging me about ethics. Busy week, classes and meetings. This faculty is really getting in the way of my research. Feeling a bit strange. I've had weird dreams ever since I came back from Vedtorp. And he doodled the church grim and the night raven. That's great. Dreamt that I was in a vast wasteland searching for the keys to my locker together with Jenny from high school. We laughed and dug in the sand. Suddenly the sky lit up and Jenny pointed at us to a simple constellation of stars. She whispered in my ear to never forget it. I asked her what it meant. She was dead, but she was dead and her bones were withered and old. I woke up and have been feeling rather queasy ever since. Read an account of a year walk by a man called Romedal in an old book I came by over in a used bookshop. Romedal's story is little more than a tale told by a drunken oaf. Most of them seem to be. Daniel sticks out. It haunts me. Held a lecture on year walking. Several faculty members attended it. They ridiculed me in front of the students. That's dumb. Another strange dream was doing my homework, was stressed because the oil lamp was running out of oil, and when it did, the pale horse outside the window would come inside. The lamp burned out, and everything went black. Woke up soaked in sweat. He had a dream about the course. Must remember to buy groceries. Fiddled with box, have no clue how to open it. Frustrating. What jealous, small-minded, greedy creatures these faculty members are. And they will undoubtedly create small-minded, jealous, and greedy students. Don't feel the need to share any of my research with the faculty anymore. They don't deserve to read something that my hand has written. They would not understand anyway. Thought of what is inside the box. The thought of what is inside of the box is like an itch that can't be scratched. I've searched for references to anything about it, but I have found nothing that resembles it at all. Alright? Having more strange dreams. Something has happened in those woods. Is your walking a mere vision quest? Are these visions brought by a lack of light and food? Yes, believe so. Not so sure. I dreamt of the runestone, was in the forest outside Vedtorp. Mrs. Bowman was walking up to me. I was very afraid. She said that I had been a bad boy and had broken the rules. Before I could defend myself and tell her that I did not mean to be naughty, she withered into dust. Found myself in front of the runestone. The Grimm's eyes glowed at me. It woke me up. Find myself thinking about the stone. What does it mean, and how is it connected to year walking? What did people do in those woods? Do not feel like sleeping tonight. Drinking coffee and watching TV. If I stay awake, those dreams will stay anyway. Jesus Christ! Now this guy's life is just spiraling downwards. Cannot understand much of my students' presentations today. Must sleep. Someone is watching me all the time. Got an email reminder to deliver the text for the game. The game? Wrote 7 or 8 pages, hopefully it's enough. Waiting, don't know for what, have a feeling something is on its way. Received an odd email today. What the Christ? Looks like something you would get in a creepypasta. Got over 1,000 of these during last night. The emails seemed to have stopped when my inbox was full. Don't know what it could mean. Maybe it's a prank by my students. But they seem too unimaginative to come up with something like this. Don't think it will all end here. Is it some kind of threat? Called the priest, told him of my plight. He said that Vedtorp sometimes has a strange effect on people, but it rarely lasted. Do not think he understands. I was going to ask him about the box, but decided to hang up when he suggested that I should see someone. Woke up last night, heard baby screams from beneath the floorboards. Panicked, managed to pry up some floorboards. The screaming stopped. The Watchers, the Night Raven, the Huldra, the Brook Horse, and the Church Grim. There might be others, cannot be sure. Can they disguise themselves? Maybe they can read my mind? The Watchers, because they watch, that's what they do. But is it all they do? Your walk, Sister Mare. Your walking works, but it was never meant to. It's against the rules. The universe blinked its eyes and crossed all the barriers that are known as time and space. The Watchers were watching, but who was watching the Watchers? Dun dun dun! Alright, we're gonna read more next episode. I'm sorry this episode was all just journal stuff, and it's probably gonna be mostly journal stuff next episode. But next episode, hopefully, we will finish this person's journal, and maybe even get to find out what's in that box. Maybe. So I'll see you guys next time on Let's Play Your Walk.